Hello everyone, and then welcome to another tutorial video. Okay, so in this tutorial video we'll be just taking the mathematical modeling and regression portion of what calculus with several variables. Okay, so this concept deals with equation of a straight line. So we try to model the equation of a straight line using what calculus, right? So in case you are new to this channel, just subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. Like the video, share. Then in case you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. Then I'll reply to them as soon as possible. So without further much ado, let's dive right into this video. So this video is very concise, straight to the point. We will not beat around the bush. Just give you what you need to know for this exact subtopic, and then you'll be good to go. So let's say you are given what the equation of a line. So this is the model, okay? Y equals mx plus b. That's the model. That's the productive tool we usually use for this subtopic, or for this concept of modeling and what regression. And then using the method of least squares. So we implement the method of least squares and then what's the equation of a straight line. So that's the gradient, intercept, and then we implement what least squares. In case you don't know least squares, you learn that in what advanced or enhanced or elective mathematics. Okay, you could use either of the names, either enhanced, advanced, or elective mathematics. You did least squares when it comes to that course. So you will be implementing what the equation of a straight line, okay, over here, and then what the method of least squares over here. So for the equation of a straight line, that's, let's say we represent that by g, and then you know that m is what gradient, and then b is what the intercept. Okay, this is where we begin what the expansion from. I could take you through what the expansion and all that, but during your exams or whatever paper you'll be writing, you wouldn't be told prove the method or mathematical modeling or regression equation. Okay, I would have done that in case the question might ask that, but for this tutorial video I'll be teaching you how to approach questions, how to solve questions when it comes to these kind of problems, okay, under mathematical modeling and what regression. Okay, so let's proceed to the main nitty-gritty stuff you need to know. So for gradient, okay, for gradient, this is the main formula you need to know. Just keep this in mind. This is the main formula you need for solving gradients. Okay, this is for gradient, and then this is what for the intercepts. We'll be solving some questions right now, so I want you to understand the two formulas, okay, so that you keep those in mind. They are just simple to memorize, okay, they are similar. So when we take the gradient, we have what? N. So n is the total number of elements, okay, n is the total number of elements, and then we have summation of y x. So summation of y x, take note, summation of y x means that you are multiplying y with x, okay, you multiply y with x. So let's say y is 2 and then x is what? 1. You just multiply that and then you end up with what? 2, and then you move on to the next set. So you just multiply them. After that you sum the total number, okay, you sum the total number. That is what summation of y x. And then this is what summation of y. So for summation of y, you only sum up the values for y, okay, only values for y. You sum up the values for y. Same applies to summation of x. You sum up the values for x only, okay. And then when you come to the denominator, you just take what? The summation of x squared. So for the summation of x squared, you take x values to the power 2, okay. You sum all of them up, and then you use that over here, and then you have what? Summation of x. So for summation of x is similar to this portion, okay. This is similar to this portion, but for this one you need to take the square root. Sorry, you need to take or you just have to multiply that by 2, okay. That's why we have what? Summation of x or exponent 2. So you just raise that value to the power 2, and then you find the answer. So it means that this value will be 2 times this value, okay. So in case you have what? 5 over here, this value will be what? 10, okay. This value will be 10. And then let's look at what? The intercepts. So for intercept, you already know what the intercepts are. So we have what? Y equals mx plus what? C. But for here we are using what? Y equals mx plus b. So b will be our intercept instead of c, which is what? A constant. Okay, so from here you have what? 1 over n. N again is the number of elements. Then we have the summation. So for the intercept, you have what? Summation of y. So you sum up y values, you add them up, okay, you take note of the value, and then you subtract that from what? The summation of x multiplied by what? The gradient. So the main concept over here is that you just have to first find the gradient. Without the gradient, you cannot find what? The intercept. Okay, so first find the gradient, find the intercept. After that, you just substitute that into this equation, then you end up with what? Or you'll be able to, model the mathematical what? Regression. Okay, right. So let's take a look at some examples so that we try help you understand the entire concept. Okay, so we have what? An example. So we have values of x, okay, and values of y. Then we have x ranging from 1 to 5, and then y ranging from what? 4.2, 3.5, 3, and 2.4, and then 2.0. Okay, so we have to find a straight line model of y depending on x. So when we state whenever they state find the straight line model of y depending on x, so we know that the equation for a straight line is what? Mx plus what? B. That's from here. Okay, from here. So it means that y depends on x for its value. Okay, without x you cannot find y. So that's what this simply means. We are trying to use what? X values, okay, to find y. So let's try find what? The straight line model of y depending on x. So we have to first write out the equation for what? The gradient. After that, we use the gradient to find what? The intercept. Okay, so let's first find the gradient. So we have what? N. Okay, so from the gradient you have the equation over here. Okay, so we have summation of n, summation of yx, okay, and then minus what? Summation of individual y and x. Okay, so we have what? N summation of y and x. Then you subtract that from what? The individual summation. Okay, right, this is x. After that, you divide that. Okay, so from here you know that you have to first find our n, because we are taking what? The gradient first. So let's see the n. The n value means that the total number over here. So we have what? 5. Okay, that's our n. So let's put that over here. And then you have the summation of what? Y multiplied by x. So you could take the summation of this multiplied by the y. So summation of x multiplied by the summation of what? Y. So that's 1 multiplied by 4.2 plus 2 multiplied by 3.5 plus 3 multiplied by what? 3.0, like that. And then you end up with a specific value, which is what? 39.8. Okay, and then you subtract that from what? Summation of y. Okay, so you sum all of the y values up from 4.2 to what? 2.0, and then you end up with what? 15. Okay, and then you sum all of this up, summation of x value up, and then you end up with what? 15. Okay, after that you divide that by what? These values. So we have n again. N is 5, and then you have what? Summation of what? X raised to the power 2. Okay, and that will give us what? That will give us what? 55. Okay, and then minus what? We have the summation of x all raised to the power 2. That is what? 225. So you can compute them yourself, and then you end up with what? So when you compute this, you end up with what? This is minus 0.55. Okay, minus 0.55. That's what you get for values for gradient. Now let's find what? The intercept. Okay, so for intercept you have 1 on what? N, which is what? 1 over 5. And then you have summation of what? Y. You already know the summation of y over here. It is what? 15.1. Okay, so we have 15. We have 15.1. Okay, and then you just subtract that from what? Your gradient, which is what? Minus 0.55. Okay, so you have minus 0.55, and then you multiply that by what? Summation of x, which is what? 15. Okay, so you sum everything up, and then you end up with what? The value for b. Okay, so for the value of b, you have what? 4.67 as the value for b. So from here you could just write your what? Modeled what? Equation, which is y equals what? m is what? Negative 0.55 plus what? b which is what? 4.67. okay, right? So this was very simple. All you need to know is what? How to find the summation. Okay, summation of these values, and then you'll be good to go. So let's take the second example and then we call it a day. So we have the second example over here. So we have to find what? Find the straight line model of y depending on x. Again, we are finding what? The model of y depending on what? X. Okay, same expression. So let's first find what? The gradient, which is what? N, okay, and then summation of y and x minus what? Summation of y and then summation of what? X. Okay, and then we divide that by what? N, summation of x squared, and then we have what? Minus what? Summation of x or what? Squared. Okay, so let's do that. After that, we find what? The intercept, which is what? 1 over n, and then we have what? Summation of y, okay, minus what? M, with what? Summation of what? X. These are formulas you can easily conjure from your head. Okay, very simple, straight to the point. Now let's find what? N. So n is what? The total number over here. So we have what? 1 2 3 4 5. So that is also what? 5. Okay, we have 5, and then we have summation of yx. So when you multiply these ones, okay, 35 by 80, 40 by 40, 75, 45 by 68, 48 by 66, 50 by 63, you end up with what? 15178. Okay, that's where you multiply these and then you sum them up. This is what you get. Okay, and then we have what? Minus summation of y. So when you sum up the y values, okay, that's 80, 75, 68, 66, and 63, you end up with what? 352. And then when you do same for what? The x values, 35, 40, 45, 48, and what? 50, you end up with what? 218. Okay, and then you divide that by what? The denominator, which is what? N, which is n is what? 5, and then you have what? Summation of what? X squared. So when you take the square of these, so 35 squared, 40 squared, 45 squared, 48 squared, 50 squared, you sum everything up, you end up with what? 9, okay, 9654, okay, 9654. And then when you take what? The summation of x all squared, okay, so when you take the summation of all of the x values squared, so that means that these values, okay, these values squared, you end up with what? 47524. okay, I don't want to go through the process of finding the exact summation of maybe x, summation of y, summation of x, summation of y, summation of x, y. You could just use your calculator to do that. Okay, I might upload a video on that, I might not, but it's just simple. Okay, it's just simple. You will use what? The table model on your calculator to just compute the summation. Okay, the summation of these x and y values. Very simple. So from here, let's find the value of m. Okay, so we know that this is what? 5 multiplied by 15178 minus 352 times 218 divided by 5 multiplied by 9654 and then subtracted from what? 47525. When you compute the whole of this, okay, when you compute the whole of this, you end up with what? Minus 1.134. okay, minus 1.134. That's for the what? The gradient. Now let's find what? The intercept. Okay, so you know that the intercept is equal to what? 1 over n. Then let's take the summation of what? Y minus what? M, and then summation of what? X. Okay, summation of x. So you know that n is what? 5, so 1 over 5. Okay, and then let's find what? The summation of y. So from here we could just find the summation of y over here, which was what? 352. Have what? 352. Okay, minus the gradient, which is what? Minus 1.134. okay, and then you multiply that by what? Summation of x. Okay, this is what? Summation of x. Let me rewrite that. Summation of x. Summation of x. Okay, So summation of x is also what? 218 over here. Okay, 218. So after that, you just find the value of what? Your intercept. So when you compute the whole of this, that's 1 over 5 multiplied by what? 352 minus 1.134 multiplied by what? 218. You end up with what? 317.6. Okay, end up with 317.317.6 as your what? Intercept. So you can just write the model mx plus b, which is what? Y equals what? M, which was minus 1.134x, okay, plus the intercept, which is what? 317.6. okay. So this will be your model. Okay. So sometimes you could get a follow-up question, like maybe you are given the x, a certain x value to be what? Maybe 10, 5 or whatever, okay, but you might be given maybe x to be what? Cost, and then y to be maybe profit. So they might state that what would be the profit if the cost is a certain value. Okay, so let's say we are given what? We'll be able to find what? The model. Okay, this is the model. Now we are given that x is what? Let's say 1. Let's find y. Okay, this is just an example, but the question will state specific values. Okay, and then you wouldn't be always given the question in the form of x, y. Okay, you'll be given the question in the form of what? A problem. So let's say cost, profit, or male, female, could be anything. Okay, that will always depend on the question. So we have what? Y to be equal to minus 1.134x, okay, plus 317.6. okay, so let's say if x is 1, most definitely we will end up with the same expression, but this is just an example. Okay, so 134, x is 1 over here, plus what? 317.6. so most definitely you will end up with the same expression, because 1 won't be insignificant when you multiply that by what? Negative 1.134. okay, so you have minus 1.134, okay, plus what? 317.6, and then after that you just compute the value for what? Y over here. You just use your calculator to point this value, and then you compute it over here, right? So I hope this video was helpful. So in our next video we'll be treating other topics. Okay, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification so that you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Like the video, and then in case you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. I'll reply to them as soon as possible. Have a lovely day.